Hello, everyone. I'm a bit early, aren't I? Bit early, but I just thought I'm ready. Let's just get it on. And then if anyone else wants to, if anyone else is free and about, then we can just get started. And if not, then they can come through anyway, and it'll be juicy either way, won't it? Okay, we're going to go through. I'm just going to update the banner below a few things. First ever, by the way, tennis live that I'm doing. That's not a watch along. So be kind, bear with me. I'll try my best. Um, it's a learning process, so it should be good though. Should be good. Please do fire away with any questions and also any comments you might have, or any topics you want to discuss, tennis related, and we can get on it as well. But before we do, and until we do get some of those questions, let's get through some of the news or results that have happened that well, I guess we're looking really at the Qatar Open, Rotterdam for the men, also the Qatar Open for the men, and the Dubai Tennis Championships. So if we look at the women's first, I mean, Muguruza has been on a fantastic run of form. She got to the final of Qatar, and then Kvitova beat her though in straight sets pretty convincingly, 6-2, 6-1. And then in the Dubai Tennis Championships, she managed to come through in the final this time. I mean, she beat some top players here. Sabalenka in three. Swiatek, she bageled her in the first set, and then won the second set 6-4. Beat Mertens, and then in the final, actually, she faced an unseeded opponent in Krejcikova and won that in straight sets. So really impressive stuff from her. And she'd actually beaten Azarenka in Qatar and also Sabalenka. So Sabalenka is probably thinking, I keep on coming up against Muguruza and she keeps on beating me in three very, very tight sets. And she beat Sakari as well, is very good, 6-3, 6-1 as well. So she's obviously reached a final and won a tournament so far. So she's on a good roll. And then if we look at the men's in Rotterdam, Rublev is just the absolute beast in the ATP 500s. He really is. Just came through, just demolished really everyone, to say the least. Beat Giron in the round of 32, 7-6, 6-3. Andy Murray in the round of 16. Then Shardy, he had to come through in three sets and beat Tsitsipas, who's, I mean, let's be honest, Tsitsipas is quality. So to beat him 6-3, 7-6 like he did was super impressive. And then he came up against Fuchsovic and beat him in straights as well, 7-6, 6-4. So he just seems to be ridiculous in the ATP 500s. But in Qatar, actually, surprise, surprise, he actually lost to Batista Agut in straight sets, 6-3, 6-3 in the in the semi-final, which was pretty surprising because I guess looking at it though, he had two walkovers, which is bizarre. One against Gasquet, one against Fuchsovic. So might be a case of him lacking a bit of sharpness because it's fine to practice, but match practice is where it's at. We all know that. The Dubai Tennis Championships hasn't started yet for these guys, but Rublev playing doubles as well. I think he actually won in Qatar, so he lost obviously in the semis, but he won the doubles with Karatsev, who we all know had a fantastic Australian Open getting to the semis of that. So the dude is quality. He really is quality, Rublev, and interesting to see how he can do in the Grand Slams now going forward because he lost in the quarters to Medvedev, and he just doesn't quite seem to have the ingredients against the top players. And when I mean top, I mean your top three, right? Your big threes. But let's see. He is a very, very exciting talent. And then on to some other news before we get to the big news is Roger Federer has made his return to, I was about to say to the ring, but this isn't boxing. This is tennis. So return to the court. And everyone was super excited about it, including me, even though I'm not a huge Federer fan. I'm a huge... Rendezvous says, is this the UFC 187 card review? No, it's not Rendezvous. Apology. This is live tennis chat. So fire away with any tennis questions you have. Also, I I don't know if anyone's going to be watching this, but I'm going to be live streaming boxing it's probably going to be around 3 a.m. UK GMT time. It's a DAZN card, and it's Juan Francisco Estrada versus Roman Gonzalez Chocolatito, and it's for the unified super flyweight titles. It's a rematch as well, and it's going to be all action. So, anyways, I've got off topic, but yeah, I will be setting up a stream for that and hopefully waking up and doing that. That's the plan anyway. But yeah, Federer made a successful return in the round of 16 against Dan Evans, who he said, and I'll tell you what, Dan Evans will be very, very happy that Roger Federer said it's like looking in the mirror when playing Dan Evans, because obviously we know Roger Federer, one of the GOATs, and there'll always be an argument to say he is, even if he gets, overtaken multiple times in the Grand Slams stats. But yeah, so won that first match 7-6, 3-6, 7-5 against Dan Evans. Watched the highlights. He looked pretty good. And yeah, let's see how that goes. Rendezvous. Chocolatito is as good as I've seen him before. Yeah, so Rendezvous, tune in, man. Tune in. I'm going to set it up. I'll be watching the undercard. Cecilia Breakhouse versus Jessica McCaskill. The undisputed welterweight fight is the main undercard. There's a couple of other good fights on there as well, world title fights. So I'll try and cover as much of it as I can. Anyway, back onto the tennis. Federer, though, yeah, won that round of 16 and then won unfortunately didn't win the quarterfinal. Came up short against Basilashvili 3-6, 6-1, 7-5 in favor of I'm just going to try and pronounce his name, Basilashvili, who, to be honest, went on to do pretty well in this tournament. But yeah, it's pretty disappointing, I think you could say, for sure, from Federer, because he's obviously made his comeback, but he looked very, very happy with his performance, actually. So I say it's disappointing because you don't expect him to lose against someone like that. But at the end of the day, he doesn't care. And he ended up losing to the eventual winner, right, in Basilashvili, who went on a ridiculous run, by the way, beating... So let's have a look. He beat Millman in the round of 32, Jaziri in the round of 16, Federer obviously in the quarters, beat Fritz in straight sets, 7-6, 6-1, really impressive performance, and then beat Bautista Agut, 7-6, 6-2. So really, really impressive stuff from him. He looks damn good, and he'll be looking to take that form into the Dubai Tennis Championships for sure, who he actually faces Fritz in the round of 32 in that first round there. So interesting to see how he does. Okay, on to the kind of big news, unless we're going to get any more tennis-related questions or comments. Is Djokovic, right? Now, for anyone who's a Djokovic fan, this is what you've been waiting for. The plaudits to Djokovic. Novak Djokovic has broken the record for the most number of weeks at world number one. The previous record was held by Roger Federer, 310 weeks. He's broken that. He's now 311 weeks. And to be honest, it's 311 weeks and counting, because I'm not really sure who's going to be able to take the number one spot off him in the foreseeable future. The only way I can see it happening is if Rafa Nadal goes on a ridiculous streak, which is possible, on the clay, and just kind of cleans up a couple of the Masters 100 tournaments, and also gets that all-important French Open win, which would take him past Roger Federer and mean that he would be on the most Grand Slams out of the top three for the first time ever. Someone would be, holding the most amount of Grand Slam titles who isn't named Federer. So that would be a big, big moment, I think. But it's all ifs and buts. Let's give Novak Djokovic his time, because he has been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, he's just an absolute model of consistency. He really has been. He's like a machine. I like to call him. He's like a machine. He's absolute machine. He's someone who, he just looks so consistent at all times. Makes everything look effortless to a degree. but in a different way to someone like Federer. Federer makes everything look effortless in the way his style, but Djokovic makes winning look effortless as well. He just seems to have everyone's number. All these young guns like Medvedev, he absolutely destroyed him in the Australian Open. And yeah, Medvedev underperformed, but Djokovic just made him look like, a 300, 300 ranked player. That's kind of what he made him look like. He made him look like he was an amateur, and he was like, "I'm the master, you're the apprentice, and it's not time to hand over the reins yet." It's like from Star Wars, right? It's not time for it's not time for the apprentice to overcome the master. I don't think, and that's exactly what happened. To be honest with you, exactly what happened, and he's carrying on his form. And if I'm being totally honest with you, and this could happen, if I'm a massive Rafa Nadal fan, but if Rafa loses early on at the French or picks up a niggle, which is possible, which is probably the biggest reason for him losing, or he draws Dominic Thiem or someone in the semis or quarters, he's in big trouble. If he gets Djokovic on his side of the draw, he's in trouble as well, because I think facing Djokovic in a semi at the French might be a bit different to facing him in the final, where we know how good Rafa is. I don't know that. Let's see. Either way, Djokovic is going to go into that French Open thinking, you know what, I fancy a second French Open here, and he'll give it everything, because he really tried magnificently hard in the last French Open. It was there was egg on his face, let's say, because he tried to play a drop shot. He really tried to employ the drop shot a lot throughout the whole French Open, and it was kind of working for him. But then as soon as he faced Nadal in the final, he tried it, and Nadal just ate it, because Djokovic, I think, tried to employ it because he knows how far Rafa stands back on the clay, but it just didn't work. Rafa just kind of read it every time. Djokovic just weren't effective enough, so he just got absolutely pummeled on Nadal. But either way, I mean, let's be honest, he's looking like he's probably going to win. He's a favourite at the Wimbledon. He's a favourite at the US Open. He could win 3 Grand Slams this year. And the younger age group, he said he's not going to give it to them. He's not going to make it easy to give it to them. And that's exactly what's happened, right? That's exactly what's happened. He hasn't made it easy. He said to them, you know what? He said, you know what? This is not going to be a case of, oh, it's the handover period. Here we go. He's like, no, I'm going to fight for it. You're not going to be able to get this status of being a one-on-one, or the guys who are going to be able to beat us. You need to really work for it. And that's kind of what he's done. He just said, you have to work for it, and I'm not going to give you anything easy. And that's fair enough. And unfortunately, what that's meant is people like Medvedev, Tsitsipas, I mean, look, they might have a chance against Rafa, as we saw Tsitsipas beat Rafa on the hard, right? They've got a chance against people like Rafa. And look, that sounds like I'm being harsh, but again, I'm a Rafa Nadal fan. But against Djokovic on the hard court, he's going to be the favourite there. He's the favourite on the hard. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a 400 weeks. I really wouldn't, because he looks like he's got more years than any of the other two, potentially combined. I mean, Rafa Nadal looks like he's probably got maybe, what is he, 35, I think, Rafa Nadal. So he's probably got 3 years maximum, maybe. Well, I mean, these guys are performing at a top level, but I mean, how much farther can he go? He's 34. So yeah, I reckon 37, maybe 37, maybe 37. And then what? Djokovic is, I think, 32, 33. Let's have a look. But the thing is, he doesn't look, he's 33. He's only a year younger, but he looks a lot younger than Rafa, right? He does. And there's a year's difference, but he looks, I tell you what, he looks like he's 30, and he looks like he could go a lot longer. And the way that he's developed his game, for anyone that doesn't know, I actually covered the Australian Open and also touched upon Djokovic and how he's developed his serve, his forehand, just tried to develop his game so that he can have longevity, like someone, like Federer, right? He's trying to copy the mold of Federer and see how can I really stretch up my career as long as possible, whilst also being effective and winning titles. And Federer has always had a fantastic serve, and Djokovic has worked on that a lot with Ivanisevic, and he's serving better and bigger than he ever has. So that puts him in really, really good stead, I have to say. And Federer at 39, you can never count him out at someone like, for example, Wimbledon, but it's going to be hard. Whereas Djokovic, it's gonna be tough for anyone. I'll tell you what, this year, or next year even, you could see him winning 5 Grand Slams the next 2 years, and what he'd then be on 23. I wouldn't be surprised, or 4 even. He's on 22. Rafa's on 20. Federer on 20. It's going to be a nightmare. I tell you what, for all players against Djokovic, it really will be. And Federer obviously is back, as I said, so let's see how he does. But realistically, I mean, how well will he actually do coming back? I mean, he's going to do better than someone like Andy Murray, because Andy Murray obviously had hip surgery and it's a bit different. But Federer will play well in bursts, I think. I think everyone knows that. So it's going to be a question of, can he really give people like Djokovic, people like Thiem, people like Tsitsipas a run for their money on? I think on the grass he's got a chance against anyone. On the grass, Federer is very good, although the surface at Wimbledon has slowed. So if you look at Wimbledon in the past, it used to be a lot quicker. So it used to suit the serve and volleys a lot more. It's still important, but nowadays returning, there's a lot more emphasis on returning because the courts have gone slow at Wimbledon. But yeah, for anyone that is interested in a very detailed or more kind of analysis into Djokovic's development in his game, and Federer and Nadal, I've got a couple of videos on it. One is called The Big Three Tweaks, and that's with Amit, who's the head coach of Team LTC, Team Lawn Tennis Club, which is actually my club, but he's the head coach there. He talked to me about that, and he obviously knows his stuff. He's very knowledgeable. Then I also talked to the Slice, right? The Slice, which was fantastic. It's from Stephen from the Slice. He was really, really good to talk to. Like, just amazing, amazing to talk to. Really nice guy. Gave me an opportunity, and I was really, really happy with that. To be honest with you, I was really happy with it. I just thought, you know what, it's really good. I don't know. It's just really, really good to see. It's really, really good to see. So let's see how it goes. But yeah, I just look at it, right, and I think, how much of a chance does Nadal have of winning another Grand Slam? And the French, he's always got a chance, and he's probably the favourite. He will be the favourite until he retires, potentially. But on the hard courts, does he have any chance? And I don't know. And that's what makes me think that Djokovic is going to be so dominant. Interesting to see what type of tournaments he's going to play for the rest of the year, Djokovic, as well. I'm assuming he'll pick and choose. He did say that being number one is really important, and obviously now he's broken that record. But yeah, I mean, Daniel Medvedev has said Djokovic is capable of reaching 400 weeks. Oh. Yeah, so I don't know. It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. He says I once beat Nadal at Roland Garros, but I lost very, very often. Did he beat him? Did he beat him? Or was it? I don't remember Djokovic beating Nadal. Really? At Roland Garros? Oh, he is. We beat him in straight sets. When was this though? 2015. Oh, 6-7-5, 6-2, 6-1. Huh. That was a long time ago, though. Very interesting stuff. Very, very interesting stuff. But yeah, I mean, Nadal's obviously beaten him every other time. Yeah, which is ridiculous because then Stan beat him in the final, just destroyed him. Just so funny, isn't it? So funny. But Djokovic won it the next year, so you won't be too unhappy about that. I think Nadal obviously had a moment in that 2015. He had a lot of injury problems as well, but not to say that that's the reason why he lost. But I think he was failing to really develop his game the way that he needed to in a period of his career, and now has seemed to have done that, especially at the French. And let's see, man. Let's see how it goes. But Novak Djokovic is just an absolute beast at the moment. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him go on a good run. I'm hoping Nadal can win the French because I want him to get that 21st Grand Slam and overtake Roger Federer. But I wouldn't be surprised if Djokovic goes on and wins, as I said, Wimbledon in the US. Okay, unless you've got any questions or comments, guys, please do feel free to reach out. Not the most not the biggest turnout that I was expecting, but it is my first tennis live, so really do appreciate everyone that has dropped in or out or just had a listen, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm really open. These types of live tennis chats, I'll try and do one a week, on top of like any other tennis content, like videos that I release with people or live streams, etc. So I'll be doing the French Open as well, which is coming up. But yeah, like really, I'm open to do whatever topics, whatever people want to discuss. It's pretty fluid. It's not going to be like super structured. So if anyone who does watch this or wants to tune into future ones, please just jump on, ask any questions. I'll address pretty much all of them if they're tennis related, and the same with the comments as well. Cool. I think I'm done. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. Please do remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really does help. And share it if you think anyone else would enjoy tennis content like this. Similarly, it's the same with other sports that I do. I think most people will know that I've seen my channel that I don't just do tennis. I do cricket and I do boxing as well. With tennis, I'm covering the Grand Slams and the ATP Tour Finals, whilst also doing other videos around that. So live streaming. So I live stream a lot of the Australian Open. I did day reviews for the Australian Open, like quick 10-minute day reviews. I will be doing something similar for the French Open. Fingers crossed, that's the plan. Similarly, I will be doing live streams for that as well. And yeah, and then other videos around that. With boxing, I have boxing interviews with other people as well. But yeah, we have a couple of people. So guys, if you are, before I wrap up, if anyone has any questions or comments or topics they want to discuss, please do chuck it in the stream, and we can get them addressed. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining. As I said, I will be covering the French Open, doing live streams, but I'll be doing these weekly tennis chats for anyone that wants to jump on. And yeah, just anything people want to discuss or comment on, I'll address it and we can go through it and have a little chat, which would be quite nice. But yeah, I also cover boxing and cricket. I've done interviews with some pros, and I also do similar stuff like this once a week, live stream. So that's for both sports as well, on top of doing reviews and analysis, similar to tennis. But yeah, thank you very much, guys, for listening. Please do remember, as I said, to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share it with anyone if they're interested in tennis, boxing, or cricket. Thank you very much. Have a fantastic evening or morning or afternoon, wherever you are. And I'll see you on the next video. And yeah, look forward to doing this again. This is the first one. So under my belt, let's get the second live tennis chat sorted for next week. Thank you very much.